To be back for this Friday afternoon ECSI closing bell Friday, July 21st show. Ready to rock and roll for all things baseball this Friday night, as well as getting you up to speed with what's going on in the Open Championship going on right now. Obviously, second round complete. Brian Harman, the leader right now. Tommy Fleetwood, handful of shots back, but a fantastic couple of days for Brian Harman to get himself all the way up that leaderboard right now. And while obviously that's a nice, I don't know if you would say commanding lead, but a healthy lead right now going into day three. A lot of golf to be played left and a lot of tough golf to be played, obviously, there. So at plus 150, you might suggest that maybe someone else can come out of that pack and catch him in a little bit there. So I've got my three, well, I should say I've got two of my three guys for my blog still in action going down the weekend with Jordan Spieth and Adam Scott. Would have loved Adam Scott to avoid a double bogey on 18 yesterday to keep himself under par, but nonetheless, we got him into day three there, so get him into hopefully that top 40 and even top 20, and we'll be in good shape there. But nonetheless, I mean, obviously a lot of good names, kind of avoided missing the cut today with John Rahm being the biggest case of that, from what I understand, 2 over right now. Actually, end of the day, 1 under on the actual second round there. So plenty of guys lurking back behind. I mean, you take Brian Harman out of there, and there's 60 guys that got a chance still for this thing the next 2 days. So this is far from over. If you haven't watched too much, unless Brian Harman shoots 7 under tomorrow and he's got an 8-shot, 10-shot lead going into day 4, there's a lot of golf to be played left here today this weekend. So I think there's plenty of guys that you can definitely keep your eye on that have an outside chance of making a run here. Obviously, the big names. I picked Spieth, so I still believe in him at 2 under overall. You got Rory sitting there lurking in the weeds a little bit there. Max Homa -1 making it through. If he can kind of get his major tournament woes behind him, he could make a nice run at this thing. That's one guy that I'm kind of looking at right now. But obviously, if you're not liking what you've seen from him in majors, then I completely understand from that. But with where he's sitting right now, getting through those first couple of days, that's kind of half the battle for him sometimes. So maybe a bit of that pressure off without any type of top 10 pressure going on. He might have an outside chance of shooting really well tomorrow. So I might take a little swing at maybe just a round 3 type of action with him tomorrow. We'll see what's going on there. But at the end of the day, plus 210 to finish in the top 10 right now doesn't sound too terrible for Max Homa. So outside of that, obviously, we like to do a little going into day 4 look at things here. But one guy that I'm sure, obviously a lot of golf left to be played. A lot of guys that we haven't, heard from in a while. Henrik Stenson was one of my guys that I was interested in. He's at -1 overall right now. Had a nice day today. Tom Kim making a little bit of a push there. So there's some guys down here that you can definitely take a look at and get some long odds on them to have a nice couple of days here. These guys have felt this course out a little bit. And there's some big names lurking at 2 over that might, make a big push tomorrow and get themselves on moving day into contention for day 4. So you could really have some fun with this and maybe take a swing at a few guys outside of that top, 3, really those top 3, any of them one that's at 3 under or better, take them out of it. If you like any of those guys, that's fine. But I could see a lot of those guys having some struggles here these next couple of days, whether it's tomorrow or Sunday, and these guys that are at the top there. So there is plenty of action to be had there for the British Open. The Open Championship. That's frowned upon to say that. That's actually the first time I've said that all season long. So I'll take that out of my words. But nonetheless, that's what we got going on for the Open Championship. Obviously, keep an eye out heading into tomorrow and to Sunday morning. Obviously, early next 2 days. So got to keep a lookout, and maybe tomorrow afternoon be plenty of conversation to be had about the Open Championship heading into day 4 there. So moving into baseball, as you see, obviously I'm solo, so we're going to keep things short and sweet. Evening, Connor. Thank you for stopping by. Always glad to have you here. So we will dive into tonight's baseball slate. A handful of games tonight. But as we always say, it is Friday. Don't be the pizza man. There are plenty of games that have a little bit of fishy scent to them, that have some public flocking to them. So there's definitely a few to be aware of. And we'll dive into it. This is not necessarily the case on this first one up the top here. This is just a really good game and one of the bigger games of the slate as far as divisional implications are concerned. Baltimore and Tampa Bay. Kyle Bradish and Zach Eflin. Kyle Bradish has actually been really, really solid these last few starts. The month of July, 19 and a third inning, 13 hits, only 1 earned run allowed. 4 walks, 20 Ks. He's been one of the pitchers of the month of July, without a doubt. 3 hits allowed in each of his last 2. So you might say, and even before that, I think 3 earned runs or less in each of his handful of starts in June there. So it's been a while since he's had a bad one. Not suggesting that this is the time for him to have a blow-up start, but I'd be willing to say that he does have a good chance of maybe giving up 2 or 3 here. Rays are on a little bit of a 5-game losing skid right now, so this is a big one for them to get their feet back underneath them here and kind of push off this Baltimore squad. Baltimore gets the win yesterday, 4-3. I think this is going to be another close game. I would feel decent. You don't like to get in front of these stretches, these streaks. I would feel decent about Tampa Bay getting this done at home. I mean, minus 146. A lot of people, I think, had this been a different team other than Baltimore, maybe we'd be seeing a little bit of a goofier line here, or maybe you would think that this is a goofy line here. But, I mean, a lot of people love Baltimore and have been flooding the market on Baltimore just in general on a daily basis. Tampa Bay does have the majority of bets and money on this one from what I see, but I'd be willing to bet that Tampa Bay, I'm not putting anything down on this one. I think this could be another 4-3, 5-4 type game here. So I'm going to go with Tampa Bay as the winning side there, but at the end of the day, nothing would surprise me here. Zach Eflin's been a little hit or miss. I'd just be a little more comfortable saying the Rays can get a few runs on the board up on Kyle Bradish today, as opposed to what Bradish has been doing. So if you've been riding Kyle Bradish successfully, then obviously keep doing it until the wheels fall off, because the wheels haven't really fallen off here in quite a bit for him. But I'd say he's due to give up a couple runs here, 2 or 3 runs here in the first handful of innings for Kyle Bradish tonight. So maybe even go Tampa Bay minus a hook in the first 5 if you're interested in Tampa Bay kind of ending that streak or having a nice start to this game at the very least there. So Colorado, Miami, next one up. Peter Lambert, Braxton Garrett. Braxton Garrett has been an interesting case this season. Has had a few stretches of looking really, really good. Last handful of starts, last 3 starts here in July, 3 earned run, 4 earned run, each of his last 3. So whereas in June, those hit totals were 3 and 4 runs in each of these starts, last 3 have been 6 and 7. So if you think that if he's due for a bounce back, and maybe that's why we're sitting at Miami minus 240 on this one, then that might be what you get out of this one. I don't have any clue what you're going to get out of Peter Lambert. Probably going to be a good amount of a bullpen game here. He might only go 2-3 innings. But at the end of the day, this Rockies team has shown some signs of life here out of the All-Star break. Obviously handled the Yankees fairly well. Split with the Astros 4-3, 4-1. So their offense has been okay. Those were obviously at home. I've been kind of chirping all season long about the Rockies starting to play a little bit better at home. Maybe it carries over to this game. I don't think so. They obviously have been very bad on the road, and I think they'll continue to be very bad on the road. So I'd be more willing to – I don't know how you get into this one with what these odds are right now. But I'd be willing to bet that Braxton Garrett gets back to – or at least in this case tonight has a really nice start, limits the hits a little bit on these quite a bit on this Rockies team here. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's tough to get into this one. I really don't know what the best way. If you think Braxton Garrett's going to be great, then I guess you got to go under a flat 3. But that's pretty steep. A couple bloops and a blast, and even late in the game. I mean, we could be talking about a late game surge from this Rockies team or something like that. So there's really no way to get into this one. I think that it is a little inflated. It's a little overvalued in my opinion, or. And not really a good way to get into. So I feel confident that the old Miami Marlins are going to get this one done. If you've got a entertainment parlay or something like that, maybe consider throwing the Marlins first 5 on there or something like that. But at the end of the day, I don't know what the best way to get into that one. They're really making it tough for you to get into that game with the Marlins and the Rockies there tonight. Alrighty, next one up, moving down the line, Padres and Tigers. 5:40 my time, 6:40 East Coast time. Seth Lugo, Reese Olson. A little bit of a goofy one here with these pitchers here. San Diego, nice series. For the most part, a nice series against Toronto. Had a 9-1 win on day one. 2-0 win the second time around. So they win the series, but the last 2 days, 2 runs and 0 runs. So the offense kind of goes back in the tank a little bit there, as opposed to hoping that maybe if you're an optimist for the Padres, maybe hoping their offense breaks out a little bit. Kind of went back down into the shell there. Tigers handled the Royals 3 out of 4 there. Three runs scored in each of their wins, 10 runs scored in their loss there. So their offense is again all over the place. Pitching matchup tonight, I really don't know what to expect out of this one. I think it is inflated if you're taking the Padres. I mean, the difference between these two teams on paper, obviously, is fairly significant offensively. But at the end of the day, I mean, these teams have been playing similar baseball all season long. So to see the Padres as favorites of this magnitude and still seeing them, at least on this book, 73% of bets, 74% of money, buyer beware a little bit there. I'm not saying to dive all the way into the deep end on the Tigers there. The Padres, like I said, they've been playing a little bit better, but at the end of the day, these teams are not this far off, and especially with Padres coming in on the road there. So I'd be, if I had to do anything, I'd be more interested in this Tigers team at home, but it's a tough pill to swallow. I'm not saying to run to it. I just think they're kind of rolling the dice here with a line where on paper the Padres and Tigers obviously is this lopsided, where you got a -150 line for the Padres, but from what we've actually seen, they're only a game and a half, 2 games apart, and after the All-Star break, they're still kind of playing to that level there. So I would not be diving all the way deep into this Padres team tonight on the road in Detroit. Kansas City and the New York Yankees, another little bit of a goofy pitching matchup. Yankees -195. They obviously continue. I believe they were off yesterday, but continued their ugliness on the road into L.A. against the Angels. No more than 3 runs scored in any of those games. Come back home, a little bit of a home cooking. Hopefully, you've got some life into you if you're the Yankees team against this Royals lineup that has obviously been putrid. But I'm not touching this Yankees team until I see it. So I don't know if you're hell bent on this Yankees team bouncing back to that home today. I could absolutely see that, but I don't know I mean, these numbers are inflated. I'm saying that because of what they've been playing like until they prove that they have woken up from the All-Star break. Then I'm not too interested in wagering too much on this Yankees team, even if it is this Kansas City team. They'd love to be a spoiler this weekend in the Bronx, and maybe have this be their shining point of the season. Could the Yankees win 8-2 3 days in a row? Absolutely. But you got Clark Schmidt on the mound, who's obviously been extremely hit or miss. So this one is one that I just have flat out no interest in. We might have some better way to attack this over the weekend, depending on what happens tonight, tomorrow. But at the end of the day, I mean, Clark Schmidt's actually been better than hit or miss the last handful. So it would not shock me if the Royals offense woke up a little bit against them. But at the end of the day, Alec Marsh over here absolutely could also get blown up here. So I'm a little nervous to go over 8.5 with the way these two offenses are playing, but that's, if I had to do anything, it would be an entertainment over 8.5, which sounds disgusting. But at the end of the day, I'm staying far away from this Kansas City and New York game. Giants and the Nationals, next one up. This one was one that was a little bit of a goofy line with a lot of people flooding all over the Giants and giving money to the Giants. 85% of bets. 78% of bets, 85% of the money on the Giants money line, at least on that one book. Giants -155. I believe that is up from -145, so it's grown a little bit on top of that. So this one is a little stinky here. If I didn't mention the pitching matchup, Alex Wood and is that Jake Irvin for the Nationals? I think it is. Alex Wood for sure, and then Jake Irvin for the Nationals. So it's going to be a little wonky on this one with the difference that these two teams are on paper and in the actual win columns. Giants offense was not great in Cincinnati. 3 out of 4 losers of 3 out of 4. The 3 losses they put up 2 runs or less. The 1 win they go 11-10 against the Reds there. And the Nationals have been playing just as ugly, if not worse. Their offense has shown a little bit of life, but their pitching has been atrocious. So if you're interested in the Nationals, maybe you look at a little team total, because there is something goofy going on here. This is a little bit of a wonky line. Alex Wood has been good the last two. So I honestly would be again. I will say I think there's enough fishiness that I think the Nationals are the right side in this one. But you could get the Nationals going for. I mean, what have we seen all week this week? You could see the Nationals go for seven runs and they give up 8-9 runs. So I'm gonna look at there's some spots to get plus money. You got to go over 4.5. So honestly, I kind of like that over 4.5. If you're getting, if you can't get plus money on the team total, then I would go to the money line for the Nationals. If you're getting, I'm seeing over 3.5 at -145, over a flat 4 at -128. I'm not interested in going minus on this situation. But I'd go if you can get over 4.5 at plus money, go with that if you're interested in this one, or just go straight to the money line if you cannot get that plus money there. So it is a little bit of a pill to swallow, but at the end of the day, Alex Wood could be due for some regression, and this line is, especially the opening line, growing from this with the money that it's gotten is it's a little fishy. This one's a little stinky coming into this Friday night. Another one to be aware of for sure on this evening here tonight. Mets and Red Sox next one up. Senga versus Cutter Crawford. Red Sox are the home favorites in this one. Open -120, now -115. Didn't see if there was any money splits on this one. We'll come back to that in a second. But actually, here we go. Goodness gracious, where are we at? All right, pretty even on this one. 58% of bets, 53% of money on the Red Sox. So not a huge discrepancy there. This one is not anything too crazy to look at. Mets just came out of 2 out of 3 against my White Sox, lost yesterday. Red Sox coming out of a losing 2 out of 3 on the road to Oakland. So obviously a rough spot to come back from. You come home, so you need a little bit of should have a little sense of urgency, but could have a little bit of that West Coast hangover. Mets traveling from home down to Boston, so not too far there. Kodai Senga has been fairly consistent, and after consistency, last 2 really, really good. Probably his best, at least best back-to-back starts of the season, arguably. These last 2, 4 hits, 1 run allowed in each of them. Not 12 strikeouts and 9 strikeouts against Arizona and LA there. So you might, honestly, we don't know enough about Kodai Senga to know if he's a guy who's going to string 4 or 5 of these types of starts in a row, or if he's going to have 2 starts like this and then get his teeth kicked in tonight. So I would lean towards maybe him regressing a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm not trying to get in front of the Senga train. He might be fantastic again tonight. He's been consistent enough that, he hasn't really had any terrible starts. So it's one to be a little bit aware of. I'm really not sure what to make out of this one. This one could be a little bit of an entertainment game for sure. At the end of the day, with the Mets coming off the wins they've had this week out of the All-Star break, I don't know. I'm kind of indifferent on this one. I guess I'll ride towards Kodai Senga having another nice start, but at the end of the day, got a total of 9.5, so kind of suggesting maybe one of these guys is going to have a rough day today. So if you feel some type of way and you think Senga is going to regress, then obviously go ahead and take this Red Sox team first 5 maybe, or even some team totals there. But I'm a little torn on this one and don't know what to expect out of that game at all there. Let's see. Arizona and Cincinnati could be a good series here. Henry versus Lively on the mound for these two teams. Lively's honestly been better than you might expect. In his case, he's 3.72 ERA in the season, 4.5 win-loss record. He's been good the last 2 or 3. He was a guy that he had a handful of starts coming out of the gates that were really solid. Kind of a Band-Aid starter starting in May for them and has been there ever since. Had a rough June. It kind of bounced back a little bit, but had a 5-7 run, couple outings in a row there against Milwaukee and St. Louis. He's been really solid ever since. Last 2 games were against Milwaukee. Now here against Arizona. Reds do get their feet back underneath them after a little bit of a losing streak out of the break. Win their last 2 at home against San Francisco. Diamondbacks take 2 out of 3 from the Braves, so the thoughts are running high on them for sure there. I think there could be some runs scored in this one. Henry's been pitching well himself as well, but you got a 10.5 total for 2 guys that have been pitching well. So, this might be a popcorn over for me. That's a lot of runs to expect out of these 2 teams, and kind of telling you that maybe 10.5 is the where this number is going to go. They're going to be a 6-5 finish. So had this one been 9.5, I think that would be a number that you might be able to tackle. If you really think these guys are going to regress and get blown up, or at least one of them and maybe the other guy a little bit so, then go ahead and take a popcorn over 10.5. But this one could be an entertaining game, a little bit of a bullpen decider game. So a 7-5 either way is kind of my prediction on that one. Let's see. White Sox and Twins was another one that was a little bit goofy with the way the White Sox have been playing. Now the Twins at least over 500 and near. I honestly don't know if they've. I haven't seen the Cleveland record today. Under 500. So the Twins do have the lead right now. So only minus 155 at home with Joe Ryan on the mound. A little bit of smelly one. As I know, I'm obviously the White Sox authority here, and I can be a little homerish at times, but I try not to be. And in today's case, you're getting this is another one that's on a Friday night, a little bit of a lopsided betting split in this one. 77% of bets, 87% of money on the Minnesota Twins, minus 155 on this specific book here. With Lance Lynn on the mound is the other factor to mention here. 6.06 ERA. I mean, if you're just looking on paper, then you're saying how is this as easy as this can be with minus 155 with the Twins at home against the White Sox? I think you can have a good chance of getting a very good Lance Lynn start. I think is kind of what that's suggesting to you, or potentially a not so great Joe Ryan start as well on the other side of things. But Lance Lynn has shown some flashes. Start before last, 7 innings, 1 hit was really, really solid. Joe Ryan could bounce back. That wouldn't surprise me at all. But at the end of the day, I do think the White Sox have a good chance here. I think Lance Lynn could be really good. So I think White Sox first 5 is a fair bet here. Plus 130, you tie, you get a push. You get them winning through the first 5 innings, you get a nice plus 130 cash. So I obviously am a homer, but I'm going to go with the White Sox plus 130 today. One of the rare times, I feel like once a week, maybe I tell you that I like the White Sox. This will be one of those times. With Lance Lynn and everything that the recipe is cooking up for that one here tonight. So let's see. Atlanta and Milwaukee. We'll do a couple more, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Soroka and Peralta tonight. These two guys obviously still not having either their best season or not having their healthiest season, respectively, for each of them there. Soroka coming off of last time out against the White Sox, 3 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs. So he's only made 5 appearances so far this year. Third one after the IL. Again, here he's made a couple IL stints. This will be the 4th one, off the IL. He's been fairly solid. Overall number doesn't look good. 3 earned runs or less in these 3 starts here. Again, 2 runs over 3 innings last time out. So really not sure what to make out of that one. Freddie Peralta, 4.41 ERA on the season. He's coming off of one of his better starts of the season. 6 innings, 1 hit, no runs. Has been fairly consistent, 2, 3, 4 runs over the last month and a half or so. But at the end of the day, this Braves team, only minus 120. I mean, you might say, wow, I can get the Braves at a cheap minus 120 price here. Seems like that's a little bit of a good spot to take them at. But we'll check this. This is another one to at least be aware of, though. 72% of bets, 76% of the money. If there's any team that could defy that, it's obviously the Atlanta Braves. But just not playing their best out of the break here. They did win yesterday, but lost 2 out of 3 to the White Sox, lose 2 out of 3 to the Arizona Diamondbacks. So their pitching and defense hasn't been quite where it was. A little bit of a sleepwalk. Brewers, kind of both offense doing enough. Defense and pitching playing well, though. So if you've got a feeling, it's honestly coming down to the pitching matchup here. If you've got a better feeling on what's going to happen there, then go ahead and fire away. But Soroka could have a rough one today. I don't know quite what to expect, but at least I would say beware of this Atlanta Braves team tonight. I'm not sure that it's going to be all peaches and cream tonight. I think this Brewers team could take it tonight, and then maybe the Atlanta Braves this next couple of days, Saturday and Sunday, could figure themselves out there. So Ohtani on the mound at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Next one up. Another one that's it is fairly lopsided, but as you might expect, that's fairly obvious as far as the public nature of Ohtani and these Angels starts here, but only minus 180 against a struggling Pirates team over the last couple of months, I would say. They win yesterday, the Pirates 7-5, but a couple of series losses out of the gates to San Francisco and Cleveland. Offense has not looked good up until yesterday. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect out of this one. It is obviously tough to go in front of the Shohei Express, but you would like to see at home against a bad Pirates team right now. You would like to see this one be minus 230 minimum for this Angels team with Ohtani on the mound. He was not very good his last two times out. One right before the break, one right after the break. 5 earned runs. 4 earned runs last time out against the Astros. So I'm not telling you to dive into this Ohtani team. I'm not telling you to dive and try and be a hero against Ohtani, but it at least is a little fishy here, and I don't think it's as simple as the Angels plowing right through this Pirates team. Johan Oviedo, Pirates starter, 7 innings, 1 hit, 1 run, 3 walks, 10 Ks last time out. He's shown some flashes. He will absolutely have he's had some starts where he's given up 7, 8 runs. Had a handful of starts where he's gone 0 runs, 1 run where he just has it. So maybe that's, kind of factoring in. That's what's baked into these odds is the potential that he could go off like that. And the odds makers are kind of taking a swing that maybe that could happen. And if so, then they're going to have a nice win on this game here. So not telling you to dive cannonball the way into this Pirates game, but or Angels-Pirates game. And fade Ohtani, but there's a good chance that Oviedo is fantastic, and maybe this is even a 2-1 type victory for the Pirates here. And maybe Ohtani was really good, but Oviedo was also really good. The Angels' offense can't do much there, so I'm not saying that's definitely happening, but I'm almost leaning towards that as far as this game is concerned. You got a flat 8 here, so I might even go the under 8 there, but. At the end of the day, it is a goofy one. Ohtani has been very good at home. Another reason why it is a little wonky that they are plus money on the run line against the 42-54 Pirates, who I don't know what their record is over the last 2 months, but I'm sure it's far, far worse under 500 than the 12 games under 500 they are right now. So it's a little goofy. I mean, Oviedo, like I said, he's shown flashes. He's still 3-10, so that's on paper obviously not very good. But I'm going to go with a good Oviedo start here tonight in L.A. with the Pirates there. And I might try and do something goofy, and maybe I will be a hero tonight. I don't know. But other than that, there is a handful of games, so if you have any thoughts, you can hop in the chat real quick. But other than that, handled plenty of baseball games tonight. We got one still going on, Cubs and Cards. Cards knocking on the door, trying to come back from a deficit at Wrigley Field. Big one for them, again, to continue to gain some momentum, try and get themselves back into things there in the NL Central. And obviously the Cubs, still trying to tread water and see if they can have an outside chance if the Brewers do fall. But Brewers and Reds kind of running away from that division a little bit there. But obviously the Cardinals are going to make a push. But nonetheless, stay tuned for any Open Championship thoughts, tweets, whatever, over the next 48 hours or so as we wind down into day 3 and 4. Very excited to get into things tomorrow. Got some UFC in the afternoon tomorrow, I believe, in London. If you're interested, go check that out. But aside from that, thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all for stopping by all week long to not only myself and Jeff shows here on the Closing Bell, but all of the ECSI content all week long. It has been much appreciated as always. So hope everyone has a fantastic weekend. Hope everyone has a successful weekend and fun weekend. Stay safe. Don't be the pizza man tonight. Beware on some of these potential public trap games, so to speak. Make of it what you will. Do a little extra research. Take everything with an extra grain of salt, and don't dive in too hard. And don't be like I said, don't be the pizza man, as we like to say. So thank you all. Have a great weekend, and I will see y'all later.